Hello everyone, here is Ines Pires. I would like to wish you an excellent 2023 after what we have been living in 2022. A challenging year again. We had this COVID in 2020, then we have in 21 recovery of the economy. Now we have 22 that finalized actually already in race, we hope. And 23, we believe that is going to be a good year, even if the geopolitical situations across the world between Europe, CIS countries, Russia, Middle East, and as well US, Latin America, Far East Asia, we are all in constant challenges, and we believe actually that these challenges are going to be overpassed through the focus on the economical development that is happening today with the new industries, creative people, women and men that come together, working with younger, creative, innovative people, and as well absorbing the capacity of older people, the ones that are now getting retired, to assimilate their own capacity in advising and analyzing and supporting this world how it is today. This is not yet the typical Ines Pires talks, it's just a sharing that I'd like actually to send out in the beginning of the year, not only with my shareholders in the different companies where I participate, but as well for all women that are out there fighting and growing their capacity professionally, personally, and to give a little bit of inspiration, as was requested by the multiple emails at the end of the year that we have received. It's of course, I'm not a feminist, I was never one, and I will not become one. However, I'm someone that really believes in the true openness of the world and the importance of working across cultures and across identities, but as well to work across different skills, talents, and sometimes face those challenges with our ultimate capacity, but at the same time the usability of the capacity of others when we can team up. This is the grace of the thankfulness of this world. We are all thankful that we are reached this stage in evolution that happened from transformation of the society. Before the society geopolitically was not standing in this stand now. Economically as well was not declined into the different industries that we are seeing today. But at the same time, what we did not see is the alignment that this 2023 is predicting for the government around the world. Commercial diplomacy, something essential for stakeholders management, is not something that should be disregarded like before. However, nowadays is essential. It's essential because the identities really transform themselves for women, for men, for professionals across borders. And sometimes what we always reflect together as with my teams and among other experts, professionals in our network, I reflect and I realized something interesting. The arrogance of the market. The arrogance of the markets are bigger and bigger. So they hypothetically, inside of the hypocrisy of the markets changed. So there is a theory that I am going to publish in the upcoming month that is a so-called progress and advancement. How can we do as entrepreneurs, as women entrepreneurs, as men entrepreneurs, as teams, multiple teams with different genders, different personalities, different advancements. The protection of that progress is essential. So we cannot just be always progressing strategically because it's not sustainable, but at the same time, if you just work in a conservative, protective way, with no risk as well from your own observation, that means there's no progress and there's no innovation. So at the end of the day, the theory of protection and progress, it's essential. So you can grab within the market what you can protect at the same time in the positivism of the reality. So as an example, you maintain your companies that are profitable, you don't learn something else that you are exchanging, but at the same time, parallelly, you can experiment, and at the same time, to not risk too much. It's the question that everyone asks: how can we risk or not risk? Relax out of the box is the only way of the progress to be constitutive for international markets, because it's always trial and error all the time, and it's not always the same professionals that do the mistakes, for example, or that gain the successes. It's constantly the trial and error of the progresses, and at the end of the day is the history that is formed by gluing and connecting the different spirits with the true knowledge and know-how. And what I'm observing as well that is happening, and I think this is interesting for reflective women, is the majority of females, for example, in the professional life, out there, the younger ones, with they have less problems. Does not mean, and I say less problems, is less problems of integration. The ones in middle age, like myself, they need to be a kind of an example of a bridge between the experience and the opening and the proudness of a certain type of gender, together with the know-how that we will form by accumulating or education or experience or know-how or studying or day-to-day experiences. And in that bridge, I think it's quite inspiring. And what I'm seeing, that's some arrogance that appears in life is a result of inconsistency of the thought. And I'm actually observing even my own teams and my co-shareholders in partnerships, or even the exposure of different contractual businesses we are in. All the time we see the different approaches in culture. So the culture that we always discuss in the international business, the commercial diplomacy, is not just the bridging of that progress in understanding others, actually. It's as well the progress of understanding ourselves and how the dynamics work in the different pairs of work. And I think it's quite interesting for women that were a little bit used to match home and professional life, and how we can not withdraw from one side to be able to do something. That is a more unilateralism point of view. And so the inspiration, I think, comes for how the planning can work towards the dreams as well. There's no dreams for life without the conquer. But it's not conquer actually without knowing what is the central point of the ground part of the life. So it's always the balance between the ground, the dream, the vision, but as well the path. How we can build a path where the sustainability is there, but at the same time the progress is maintained, and the protection of who we are at the end of the day is being possible. This is a bit the message of 2023 that I would like to pass. One last point, as majority of you guys know, I worked in Moscow. I have worked in the Pentagon. I have worked in Turkmenistan. I have worked Sultanate of Oman. I have worked in Abu Dhabi, in Far East Asia, Indonesia, Kuala Lumpur, lived all these countries, and the exposure varies according to not only personality, but as well how the knowledge is formed. So as much knowledge we are trying to assimilate, less exposure we have, and as much exposure we have, less accumulation we have. So the protection and progress needs itself, that theory, I'll need all your help to stabilize it together with our own reflection and evolution of the progress of the teams that we would like to achieve. As end note, I would like to invite everyone to a community of reflection, of groundless, of protection and progress, of advancement for actually a true international business, of there's no arrogancy, and that we actually understand what is going on in our limited visibility, because sometimes what happens in the world is that we don't have the full visibility, And what had happened, usually we make mistakes. For example, I work with teams every day that they guess things based on a specific result in their own mind, but they are not seeing the mastermind. At the end of the day, it's the same as the ones that believe or not in God. The ones that only believe in God, they can see Him, they don't need to see it actually to believe. Other ones, they just see what is in front of us and how we reflect to our own limitations of our own minds without actually accessing visibility that is out there. There's multiple powers in the world, multiple powers that can be used for our international business, for our spectrum. A moment of pause is sometimes what we all need to do to reflect on the matters that we don't have visibility. When we don't have visibility, and this is an advice for my own experience, that sometimes we tend to talk about things that we don't see. Like I said before, it's like believing in God or not. It's not actually believing in a higher self, in a higher universe or whatever. Does not actually diminish the results, the rationality. In the moments of pause, actually, and we do that in the beginning of the years usually, it's important to reflect when we believe in God or when we believe just in results or in rationality, that are essentially pinpoints for international business and especially commercial diplomacy. Why? Because we don't have the full visibility. It happens every day with me, with teams, with my partners, shareholder partners, or whatever is the team that I'm working with. When the people don't see visibility, I don't have it. They tend to make jokes of each other, even bullying without wanting, even criticizing without actually having access. And this is my advice, is for us to try to don't speak for things that we don't have visibility, but as well to be truly open. And actually, to be truly open is not actually a question only of trust, but is actually a question of questioning our own reasoning when we assess judgment for things that we never lived. As I shared, I'm a globetrotter. I saw so many things that I could comment in this video, and we'll have the whole year to do so. But now I want to give this advice. Be truly open. Don't judge with what you don't see. Don't deny the existence of we don't observe. Just actually be there, attentive, teaching, sharing, supporting, inspiring, creating more partnership to actually develop the talents of the ones around you. And this is the final note I want to see around me, and part of my good friends, Mr. Umberto Calderon Berti, that was the president of OPEC. He wrote this fantastic book, The Golden Years of OPEC. He's as well board of advisor, part of board of advisors of one of the companies where I am shareholding. That is a fantastic book that I would like to introduce and to let you know that soon we are having an interview with Umberto. It's already set, so just be attentive. Meanwhile, you can actually go to our website and find it, and how the whole world geopolitically, economically, and as well commercial diplomacy with softness as well achieved the goals that we are here today, not only energetically, not only in reflection, but especially how the theories of protection and progress are being developed in the last years. So I just would like to wish you a very, very happy year, 2023, that all your dreams come true. I would like to ask the ones that are in a position of power, and we consider ourselves in position of power, to remain non-arrogant, to remain happy, to remain thankful for the ones that are surrounding us for a higher goal. We are all here for supporting that higher goal, because we are humans and we live in a society with responsibility.